you hold this on my?
Yeah.
Okay. Good. Tiny.
Yeah, this is not really good angle at all. Unfortunately.
I thought the angle was all right.
Yeah, the way that I'm sitting, I look half your size.
You look tiny. You look like a small child. That's hilarious.
So what are we gonna do?
Well, we're going to do a live stream. Right, so
I'm gonna be looking up at you this whole time.
yeah. So welcome to Light Shadow School. We're basically just we're a couple, and we do personal coaching. So you do coaching on wellness and well-being.
Nutrition, self-development.
Yep. Awesome. And I'm a shadow coach. So my big forte is finding the parts of you that is suppressed, that's hidden. Parts of you that you've been missing for a long time because maybe through trauma, maybe through bad memories, maybe through bad circumstances, you have basically rejected parts of yourself. So I help to bring that up, and that's where I'm sort of coming from. But we're really engaged in the world. We spend pretty much all our time learning and diving into the wild and wonderful world of personality structures and psychology, and yeah. So that's where we come from with these live streams. We like to just talk, get a flow going, and see where we go.
Today we're talking about living with purpose and finding your passion and why that's important. What do you think about when you think of purpose?
Purpose, all right. Well, I think purposes should change over time. Like I think that while you may have for 10 years you may have a driving purpose, but then you kind of fulfill an inherent need, and then your purpose kind of changes a bit. I think we kind of move around. It flows. It's like a river. One bend of the river is not like.
What about like fate and like life's purpose? Like your ultimate purpose type of thing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm a bit of a spiritualist, so like basically I look at it like we come into life as a soul with a certain number of challenges, a certain number of things that we wish to achieve in that lifetime, and they're hidden. We may set up scenarios or situations for ourselves, which you can call fate, along the way, and then we kind of have free will and navigate our ways to it. But we must face this hurdle. We must face this. We must face this at some point, and they'll come up and meet us.
How do we know that we're living in our purpose, or just like living our purpose?
That's a really hard question. That's such a hard question.
I think we all want to know, because how do we know we're doing it wrong? What does it feel like if we're not living with purpose?
Well, you definitely know way easier when you're living purposelessness than when you're living in purpose. When you feel, I think that it's kind of like it's a field. It's like a passion, a drive, a motivation, an energizing field. Like when you step into purpose, everything comes alive. You can't wait to do the things. You can't stop thinking about it. You're really in that flow of like, I'm in my creative power.
Yeah.
And that's like living in your purpose. When you're living purposelessness, we kind of force ourselves to be what we think we should be. It's like, I think that I should be successful in my career. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to university and study what my father studied in university, because that seems to be the thing to do. Maybe he's a doctor or a lawyer or something. And then I'm going to go through 4 to 6 years of that, and then go out in the field and start working it. And I feel like I should be like successful. So the next step up would be to become a manager. So I'm going to work 10 years and then become a manager. And is that like successful? And you're kind of like forcing it. And you feel kind of empty, right?
But when you said about like living with purpose, feels like you're thinking about it all the time.
It's an obsession, yeah. You feel alive with it. You feel that life force energy.
So what if someone actually feels that like they're living their purpose, right? Their purpose like excites them, energizes them, but they're not obsessing about it. they work in bursts. Like they might have two weeks where they're fully into it, and then for 3 months they're not touching it.
Yeah.
What do you think about those situations? Is that still living with purpose, or is that
Some people operate in bursts. Yeah, like there's actually a whole big breakdown of how people operate like that. And for the burst, it's kind of like you get a lot done very quickly, but then you have rest, and maybe part of your purpose is actually to have big periods of rest, to set that boundary for yourself, say, right, I need time to process and then do more, and then need time to process. And that's just your innate pattern. That's all right. Look, this world isn't really geared for people like that, though. Unfortunately, modern society. It's like you have to work 5 days a week, every single week for the rest of your life until you die or you retire.
it's not financially rewarded to work in bursts, where some people actually work in bursts.
Yeah.
Or some people work better at nighttime. Maybe they should have like only night shift for certain jobs.
Yeah. Yeah, come nighttime, like as soon as it hits 8, 9:30s, then the night starts to come alive. That's when I really energized and really into it. But as you know, I got ADD, and it changes the brainwave, and I think that's just when the brainwave comes on that I'm best functioning in. So yeah.
There are those brainwaves. You can trigger those brainwaves too if you take certain supplements.
Yeah, that's true. I'm just sort of going with my natural flow. I got a flow. I got a rhythm. So
nice.
Yeah. What's your rhythm? Tell me about your rhythm.
So my rhythm is, I learned recently, I'm supposed to be working in bursts.
Okay. Supposed to be. That's a very interesting
Supposed to
language.
be,
Yeah.
Because of the way my body is, because of the way my human design chart is, because of the way my particular blueprint is, because I'm a woman who's had the certain experiences that I had. That's just the message that I thought that I'm supposed to be working in bursts.
Yeah.
And I've had multiple messages from tarots confirming this as well. So there is something to it, and I know that I actually work better in bursts as well.
Yeah.
But again, it's hard when it's not something that's rewarded. And I used to feel really guilty about it and try to overwork and try to compensate and go into burnout. And now I'm finally allowing myself to just work on bursts.
It seems like the most natural way to be. I mean, if I was living, I always bring everything back to tribalism, always, because tribalism is what we are. It's like 200,000 years baked into our genetics, baked into our cells. So everything's, if you, through the tribal lens, tends to make a bit more sense. Burst tends to make a bit more sense. If you look at how our ancestors lived, they weren't going out there going, right, well, I'm going to do 10 hours and hunt for 10 hours, and I'm going to do that every day on repeat. No, they would relax, they'll conserve energy, and when they see track or trace of an animal that they want to hunt, if they have a little wander, they're relaxed until they need to burst, they need to run, they need to work hard. They might spear an animal, it's escaped. Now they're going to spend like a big burst of 10 hours actually tracking that animal down to where it falls. That's burst. So if there's a disaster, a bushfire sweeping through the forest, quick burst energy. We are getting out of here, and out you go. Like everything's like, just quick, explosive. We need to do things quickly, and then most of the time's relaxed.
That's what I feel like is missing as well. People are doing 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hour cardio sessions.
Yeah.
But when it comes to sprinting, literally you want to sprint for 10 to 12 seconds at a time. And then you rest, and then you speed up to your 80 to 100% of your limit and sprint for another 10, 15 seconds. You'd be surprised so many people don't know how to do this burst energy, but then they're forcing themselves to do sustained 3 hours. Oh, I worked out for 3 hours today. I must be really healthy. No, that's actually really bad. That energy is more for endurance purposes, but when it comes to quick energy bursts, you need sprinting.
Yeah. I mean, sprinting might be good for people escaping being hunted.
Yeah, the agility when it comes to fight or flight, you need to be able to have your reflexes and have that, that muscle memory. But it's just, that's not what's I don't think people understand how important that is.
I look at it like we would only in nature only ever do prolonged exercise if we had to migrate, like if we were nomadic, but we wouldn't be running. We wouldn't be running. We'd be walking, just casually and strongly walking, power walking even. It's very unnatural for us to run for long periods of time. Our body's just not adapted for it. It's not good. Sprint. If you look at some of the most built, athletic, like muscly, like just uber minch type people you've ever seen, and they are sprinters, short distance sprinters. They'll run for 30 seconds at a time as hard as they can, and then take a break, and then let their heart rhythm come down, and then sprint again. And these guys are built, man. Women as well, super built, because that's what our body responds to. That's what it's for. We're meant to do sprints.
And also the act of calming down, that's the other thing. That's why a lot of people are stuck in stress and fight or flight.
Yeah.
Because the body doesn't know how to calm down. But when you're constantly pushing your body to the limit and then allowing yourself to calm down fully, the calming down process is important. It teaches your body when you get angry, when you get stressed during daily life, you know how to calm down.
Yeah.
Because your body has that, and your nervous system has that memory.
Yeah, I think we're losing the ability to learn to calm down. If you look at how our modern world is, like, and everyone's constantly on stimulants. You got your coffees, you got your Red Bulls, you got your V's, you've got your high stress, high workload working environments. You've got a society where you're constantly surrounded by people, so you've got to be a little bit on guard. You got your media broadcasting like extreme stuff, like horror movies and action movies and stuff, or stressful news and everything. And if it's not any of that, it might be you're sitting on a computer and you're constantly getting bombarded with stuff there. At what point during this whole modern living sort of situation are we ever going to be calm? We have to go to like retreats, or when we go to sleep. We might be calm when we go to sleep.
If we can get to sleep, most people, they're having trouble falling asleep.
Yeah, because all the blue light. But it's the blue light everywhere, and it's just keeping you awake. It's telling your brain, stay awake, stay awake. It's the middle of the day. And it's really fucking us up.
It really is.
Yeah.
So living with passion.
Well, yeah, man. I found passion when I started doing shadow work and realizing, like, because I had to go on a journey, and for anyone that might be watching now or later, I've been on a journey, and that's taken me through some pretty rough territory, which is good. It's a good thing. It's like when you climb lots of mountains, you end up getting strong and fit and become a really good mountain climber. So it's like that with like traumas and pains and rejections and hurts, and how people may have spoken to me in the past or treated me, backstabbing, lies, and I was not necessarily positive either, but I've been trained to be adaptive now. I've been trained to face my inner demons, and in that process, learning what those inner demons are and how to speak to yourself and how to go deep in and actually start to heal these traumas. And that became a passion. It's like, wow, this is amazing. This is how the brain works. This is how the human psyche is. And it's an amazing process to go from being imprisoned by yourself, being trapped and held down by your limiting beliefs, and just chronically attracting bad, negative people, and going through this whole process to the point where I'm just open and free and helping people to find that in their own journey. That's my passion. I'm in it. I'm in the passion. It's great. Yeah.
The chronically attracting negative people is like most people don't even realize that that's what they're doing.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, they have no idea that, oh shit, the reason I keep attracting the same type of person is not because I'm unlucky and that's the only type of person that exists. Every type of person exists out there. The reason they keep finding their way in there is because it's you. And I know that sounds like victim blaming or whatever. It's more that there's something in you that needs to and to grow and to learn something fundamentally important. This whole idea of fate might come into it. This is when we're born into lives and we have to learn karmic lessons. Maybe this person and all the horrible things that they might be doing to you They're trying to teach you to stand up for yourself. And maybe that's your great lesson, and that's why they keep coming in, and that you don't do it because you haven't developed that part of yourself yet. And so you need to learn and grow it.
If someone can actually realize that, that would be the most humbling thing, because that would be like a slap in the face. Like, all this time I felt like the victim, all this time I felt like the world is against me.
Yeah.
Instead, no, I was actually being given opportunities to heal, and I just wasn't recognizing that.
Yeah.
That would be not easy to accept for a lot of people.
You get to a certain point where you start to look at everyone around you, warts and all, as teachers. Every single human being on this planet is some form of teacher, and is teaching lessons, which some of those lessons that they're teaching are horrible lessons. They're lessons that nobody wants to learn, but they're there constantly putting that on other people and showing people, this is how you overcome this. That might not be their conscious intention, but unconsciously on the soul level, that's what they're doing. And it takes actually quite a very amazing soul to be able to take on that kind of path. It's not an easy one because they live with more trauma and hurt than most people.
So you think they're also acting on their traumas as well?
Absolutely, yeah. But traumatized people traumatizing people. Like that's when you see that in action across the planet. Like all these people that everyone's talking about the elite, how they're like, Satanists, and they're harming people, and they're like controlling people and everything. A lot of these guys are on a deep level actually in a lot of like pain, because they a lot of them grew up with a lot of isolation, a lack of maternal care from their parents, and a lot of pressure from a young age to be something, and they don't have a choice to be something themselves. And so they internalize all that stress and pressure of their life, and then they become this monster, so to speak. And it's these guys who are addicted to power because it gives them a feeling of certainty about their world. And if you feel certain about at least this, at least I'm in control of all of this, so I can feel a little bit safe because I'm in the steering seat. And that gives them this inflated egos and all kinds of things that come with it. But on the heart, in their soul, that they're suffering, and they want to be free. Yeah, it's but then they're teaching the world some very important lessons too, and we need to understand that, because if it does, we don't hate them. We start to move away from hate. We start to move into understanding. And like, then we understand more about what our roles might be in their lives when you're in that alignment.
Well, none of them are telling the truth, so how can we figure it out?
Well, that's as you get to know yourself on a deeper and deeper and deeper fundamental level, the more you start to see the truth. So you start to see through the personas and the facade and the lies and the words, and you get to actually read the information behind the person, behind the mask. And it gets clearer and clearer to the point where, oh, okay, you're just actively lying. You're actively deceiving. This is very obvious to me. That's nice. Okay, I see now why. And through your lies, I can actually see what's going on in your unconscious. I can see what's going on behind the scenes for you. You're just trying to protect yourself, or you're just trying to get something out of me, or it becomes very clear.
Yeah, they're in self-protection mode. They're not willing to be vulnerable with others. They think everyone's out to get them. Like,
they might be. They might actually be out to get them. And when you get a lot of power, everyone's trying to get you. It's just how it is for them. But they've created that world for themselves too.
And so, they push everyone away. And how can you connect with that?
Well,
there's nothing to connect to.
I think that the right people come into your life, including in their life, at the right time to teach you the right message. It's kind of like a contract that happens between us. And it resonates. And for some reason, when you normally don't listen to anyone, you listen to this person, and it hits. You see a lot of people who have reborn themselves, so to speak, from the life that they were in. They go through a reconditioning of themselves because one person spoke to them 3 years ago and they never forgot it, and it set them on a completely different path. We have this power to influence each other in a very powerful way, but it needs to be at the right time for the right people.
So what's the contract you think we've signed with the elites and stuff?
Well,
Unconscious, of course.
yeah. I mean, we're experiencing the symptoms of a society divided into two camps at the moment. You've got the mechanistic thinking and you've got the mystic thinking. So you've got your ultra religions and your ultra corporations and government types. This is where humanity is at in its developmental phase right now, where we've schismed ourselves into these two thinkings. Our great challenge is to bring both of these together as a whole so that we can balance it. And so they're basically doing their part to show us the mechanistic, or even sometimes the mystic, you know, the popes and stuff like that, aspects of our own collective consciousness. And they're going to continually broadcast these symptoms of this is where humanity is at right now consciously. Because these guys would not exist in the world if we all were complete, if we all were whole, if we all were fundamentally had that strength and balance within ourselves. If we're at that place as a global collective, these things wouldn't necessarily be allowed to thrive or have any foothold to actually exist. Like if you, for instance, if you were allergic to wheat and you ate wheat your whole life and now you got arthritis in your elbow, you know, is the pain of the arthritis in the elbow the problem?
It is definitely a problem.
It's a problem, but is it the problem?
Well, it's kind of too late now because it's already like you can't take back.
Arthritis can be reversed, but you first have to address the root, the core, the source, the cause of it, and that's the same with humanity. We can't just kill all the bad language, YouTube. We can't just like eliminate all the elites and think, oh, good, problem solved. No. It's coming back. It's coming back, people, because that's exactly where humanity is at. Just like if you get dictators, you know, you can end their life, but they'll pop up somewhere else. This is going to be constant because this is where humanity is at. This is what we are right now, and the solution, the only solution to some of the worst problems in mankind that we're facing today is we need consciousness expansion collectively. We all need to expand our consciousness. And the more we do that, the more these symptoms fade away. And we start to become more unified and as a collective, as individuals, but empowered. And we start to treat each other better because we're conscious of the fact that we are also evil as much as they are. And we...
Oh, no. Oh, no.
Oh, here we go. What?
We can't accept that because that would mean that we're like criminals. I'm not a criminal and I don't have bad intentions and I don't have negative thoughts like that. I'm not a tyrant. I'm not a dictator.
Maybe not in this current situation, in this current set of circumstances that has arisen for you in your life. But should the circumstances change, you'd be surprised exactly what you'll be capable of doing. But do you know that? Are you aware of that? Have you gotten in touch with that part of yourself that would thrive in an evil way in that situation and scenario? Have you met that part of yourself?
No, because it doesn't exist. It never will.
If it exists in another human being, it exists in you too. We actually have very little genetic diversity between us. Did you know that we actually went through a bottleneck? I think it's about 12,500 years ago or something like that, where humanity was almost, actually no, it's way longer, but we were almost completely wiped out as a species. We bottlenecked. We only had a few thousand human beings left on the entire planet. And it may have been through a huge climate change that happened or ice age, or I'm not sure. There's a lot of people discussing why it happened. But because of that, our genetic diversity shrunk a tremendous amount. So as far as like our base like instruction manuals in our bodies goes, we're all very closely related. There's in the entire human race, there's as much genetic diversity in one family of gorillas as is in the entire human race. So we're all actually very close to the same person.
But over time, through generations, there's mutations and things like that.
Sure, but that's I don't think you understand how slow that process really is. It's an extraordinarily slow process. It takes tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of years for any significant changes to actually occur.
So, because we're so close, genetically similar as a human race, we are seeing these big issues with other people being so like above us or whatever, and
Yeah.
having a lot more power, and that disparity, like, I don't know, like, what was the point that you were trying to make?
The point is that we're pretty much all the same being. We're pretty much all the same. We have some slight variances between us, but overall, as far as our psychology goes, except for the necessity of disease, maladaptation, maybe like damage to the body, that kind of thing, that obviously puts you in a very unique position. But most of us are of an extremely similar boat with extremely similar psyche potentials. We have the same shadows, generally speaking, the same chances towards things with different variances on it, but it's all the same base building blocks.
But if you tell someone that, oh, you're not unique, that is almost like the biggest insult.
We are. We have free will. We're unique. We're definitely unique. Just like
What happened to the line?
I'm not sure. Just like if you go to a clothing shop and you try on a red shirt and someone else goes in there and wears a blue shirt, you're this unique in the next expression of it, but you're both shopping at the same clothing store. So how we express ourselves is beautiful and unique, but we're all coming from the same base blocks. That's all I'm saying. And that's the same with the psyche, and that's consciousness. We're all different levels and expressing it uniquely, and each person's life is inherently unique in the way that they were raised, and all the influences in it. So it's kind of like its own note in a song, but we're all being played on the guitar, and we all are notes, and we come from the same base.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
That's an analogy
Okay.
that I hadn't heard of before, but now I've heard of it.
Yeah.
Hello to the one person that's watching, because I know I'm the other person that's watching. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. We are a duo of wellness coach and shadow coach, and we come together on Life Shadow School and we talk about the polarity of life. I think that when it comes to passion and finding your passion, we put so much pressure on ourselves to just find it,
Yeah.
especially when we're going through transitional periods, and every decision we're making, it has to be the right decision. Like, I'm coming out of school, like going into college or university. Oh, I better choose the right decision. What is my passion? And there's so much pressure that I think gets put on there.
So much pressure.
And I think
Yeah.
we need to give ourselves time to make mistakes. Like, I have gone through probably 8 to 10 different careers. Now I'm doing what I'm doing because I know that those other careers were not the right choice for me, but I still had to do those to find that out. Why are we so obsessed with always trying to make the right choice? Please your parents, or please, what the society says. Why can't we just take our time with going through life experiences? I feel like there's like this. I guess maybe it's the pull towards the independence that's quite like.
Yeah, I don't believe in wrong choices. I don't think we can possibly make a wrong choice in our life. I think that we can make choices that cost us something. I think that we can make choices that hurt others or hurt ourselves or cost us time and that sort of thing, but we always gain something from it. We always gain some sort of wisdom or clarity or further understanding. Or we get to explore ourselves a bit more. I don't think you can possibly make a wrong choice. If that takes the pressure off, it's a perspective.
Well, then why even bother trying to find your passion in the first place if every choice is a potential choice?
It's a state of being. Every wrong choice that you make leads you closer into clarity and closer into alignment with what is the right choice. Who am I really? Where am I going in my life? Where is my passion? And some people go down like wrong choice, wrong choice, wrong choice, wrong choice, and what they'll find is that life gets increasingly more harsh for them, and that you get increasingly brighter and brighter stop signs saying no, wrong direction, until you listen. Sometimes people will perish, and then they'll have to start again in a reincarnation cycle. But then they start from the base again, and they'll like continually go. If you don't listen to the stop signs, there's only one way it's going to go. You have to restart. But if you listen and you go, oh, wrong way, let's try another way. And we're in the dark navigating a forest, but eventually we'll find our way to the path. Eventually we'll find our way out of the forest. It's inevitable. Especially if you take reincarnation into consideration, and you realize that you have infinite numbers of tries.
Well, reincarnation isn't something that everyone believes in.
No.
And it would take a lot of convincing to get someone to believe in reincarnation. There's the Hindu tradition in there, they have reincarnation, Buddhists and stuff as well. But recently, I've been getting into A Course in Miracles, and part of A Course in Miracles is reincarnation, and part of that is not A Course in Miracles, Edgar Casey's writing.
Edgar Casey, yeah, he's amazing.
He was the one. He's also a channeler, and he talks about reincarnation while he was so involved with the church. This is like late 1800s we're talking about. And he's very much traditional. He's very much doing like Sunday school teaching, and he's part of the community. And suddenly he starts channeling all this information about reincarnation. And then he comes to, and then the person who wrote down all the stuff that he was channeling tells him, and he's horrified, and he's completely, eventually his religious family abandons him completely. He's exiled from that community. He's mentally tortured because he's like, I don't know what to believe in.
Yeah.
Do I believe in this religion I've been investing so much in? But reincarnation, what about reincarnation? What if reincarnation is true, And I think reincarnation is a hard sell. It's a big sell.
There are examples of what you could call proof of reincarnation that have popped up in history throughout the world. One is, for instance, there was a Scandinavian boy. Now, he told his parents from a very young age, from age 3, that he was killed. Now, this is obviously very unusual for a child to be saying that, yeah? It wasn't until he got a bit older, he said, I'll take you. He's like 7 years old. He's like, I'll take you to where I was killed. And he led his parents out into this swamp out in the marshy areas and said, here's where I died. And then they found a human body there that was stabbed. And he had described being stabbed. Like, there's so many examples of this. If you look, you'll find it.
Here's the devil's advocate.
Yeah.
Here's the counter argument.
Okay, cool.
What if that child was just inhabited by the spirit of that
possession idea.
Yeah, and maybe we are actually receiving information because we're connected to them, not because it's our past life, but we're connected to all the lives around us. Like, how often do I say a word and then something shows up for you relating to that word,
Well, then how is reincarnation not real? Because if you say that consciousness is in, like, the true consciousness is in the spirit form, and we can move into bodies, then we're basically reincarnated.
I wouldn't call that reincarnation, because
not in the way you think of it.
Reincarnation is described as your life is ending and now another life is beginning, and that's you being reincarnated. But it's not you as how you were. It's the reformation of energy, like.
But that's where the definition is. Like, if you consider life as something that ends and begins, you don't look at life as something that ebbs and flows and fluctuates. Then, like, that's a limited perspective on what life is.
Well, yeah, it's a completely different definition of reincarnation.
Yeah.
One that doesn't really. I don't think I've ever heard anybody talk about reincarnation in that way.
I don't think I've ever heard anyone talk about it that way. That's how I kind of see things. Yeah. I think that we have very limited perspective because that we are so immersed in our bodies. We're so entrenched in the physical flesh of our form. We have like heartbeats and pulses, and we feel our hot breath in our lungs, and we feel the emotions which come from a deep instinct of the flesh. Like a human being has evolved to feel certain emotions, have certain triggers, have certain we have limited perspective. We can only see to hear. We can only hear certain like frequencies. Where everything about the body, it gives us so much ability, but it's all limitation. It's all based on limitation. And so as long as we have a limited human mind and a limited capacity to understand certain things, and it takes us time to develop, like we'll never truly understand the real nature of things beyond the flesh, because we're convinced that this is all I am.
Well,
I'm a
if you're a
human body.
materialist, then yep, the flesh and the biology, the physics is all there is. Don't ask them about quantum biology. Don't talk to them about quantum physics because they're a materialist. Or they'll say that only works in theory because it's only a theoretical model. It has no basis in reality.
Yeah.
You know. Meanwhile, I'm here doing like ultra 4D meditation, quantum leap.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. So I think you should understand these things.
Huh?
I think you're definitely well on the path of understanding these things.
I don't claim to know the scientific meaning behind the words, but I know what they're trying to say, because that is not the only word you can use to describe that same thing.
Yeah.
And I think language has evolved in a way that we're still experiencing the same thing, but we just have different words to describe the same thing.
Yeah.
And that is what I'm picking up when I can speak to people. Like someone told me ages ago that they had an autistic child.
Yep.
And they wouldn't have many friends at all. But when we were interacting, we got along really well, and I didn't really see the autism or anything, you know. And they're like, "Oh wow, you can really get along with with that person really well, you know. It's hard for her to make friends and all that." And I'm thinking I don't see that, even though they're different. Even though they speak slightly differently or focus on things slightly differently, I understand what's behind they're trying to say.
Yeah.
And maybe being bilingual has helped me with that, to understand that, you know, it's not just about...
Have you had a lot of exposure to people with autism? Maybe you've learned to speak the language, you know what I mean?
I might have undiagnosed family members. I don't know. In Pakistan, they don't really see mental illness. They see you're either okay or you're mentally retarded. That's it. Those are the only two options you have. So
right.
just don't be in the mentally retarded category, because you will be admitted involuntarily to a mental hospital and not being able to get out.
Right. So I should never visit Pakistan, in other words, because some of the shit that I would say, they'll probably go, "Oh, he must be mentally retarded," and they'll throw me into a hospital, and I'll be screwed.
Not if you want to be liked by
I don't think I'd fit in very well in Pakistan, to be honest.
I don't either.
I'm way too I've broken out of my own religious mold with Catholicism, and I'm too skeptical now on religions, and I just couldn't handle being in a religious society anymore. It just wouldn't work.
I think a lot of people are breaking out of that religious framework.
Yeah.
But this is where I'm really excited, because when I started reading A Course in Miracles, I know I keep talking about it. It's not actually theology. It's not actually religion. It does use the word God, but it doesn't use it in the Christian terminology. It doesn't use it. It doesn't. All the other stories, they don't come with it. If you want to replace it with a higher power or supreme being or true self, even some people think your highest self is, or consciousness, whatever you want to refer to it as. It's about the meaning behind that. So that's where I really appreciate but when it comes to religion and all the dogma that comes with religion, I just immediately, I get the ick, and I am almost allergic to it, because I've seen the dogma of religion break families. I've seen it traumatize people. I've personally been traumatized by the dogma of religion. If no one believes me, that's fine. But this fear of hell, that it
Yeah.
is pushed down you when you're younger. It caused me nightmares on top of the stuff I was already dealing with, to the point where every night for me was like a nightmare. Every night was a nightmare. Every time I would wake up screaming.
Mm.
And it would take me a few minutes to sort of come back to. And so the religion, even though some of the stories and parallels that you can make might be beneficial, the way that is practiced and dogmatically pushed onto children, I had a negative experience with it.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at religion as like just a cultural record, a preserving of tradition, then it makes sense. But this is what I was talking about before with like how our world seems to be divided into the mechanical or the mystical, and religion is definitely the mystical. It tries to capture like this idea that you need to look externally to yourself for salvation. You need to beg externally for forgiveness. You need to humble yourself before something external to yourself. It doesn't teach you the truth. And the truth is everything external is internal. You are inherently connected. You're inherently one flesh with the cosmos, with everything within it. Like this whole idea of God is kind of like the best analogy I've seen actually is from Star Wars, the Force. The Force isn't everything, and they just learn to communicate and to work with it. But this is what God is. It's something that's we're all kind of living on the surface edge, like physical reality. If you look at have you ever seen like demonstrations of 4D and 5D images?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. If you look at the 3D world, we're kind of like the edge of what is a greater structure of things. And I think that what you call God, this is part of it, but it's just like it's part of a greater structure that we can't see and perceive because it seems to be beyond our physical minds. We're only concerned with the physical because we're physical.
If you think about it, like the ultra-religious is not too far off from the materialists. Because the materialists, they're also lacking the belief, and the ultra-religious, they also are lacking the belief that, there is no, they've severed their connection with God and said that no, God is out there, and I have to accept God into my heart, and that's how I will be saved because I'm born with sin, and I need to feel guilty about being alive, and all this just brainwashing that they teach you.
Yeah.
It's teaching you that you're not connected. By the way, you're dirty, you're unclean, you're impure, and to make yourself pure, you have to do all this religious dogmatic stuff.
Yeah.
And what are the materialists teaching us? The materialists are teaching us is it's all in the physical and it's all this limitation. This is the only way things work, and they're both very closed-minded in that sense. They're not open to a bigger perspective. Like, if the materialists started to understand that, hey, there's reported phenomena that seems supernatural. How do you explain it? You can't explain it. Even the double slit experiment, the wave and the particle changing based on the observer, like the observer effect. Once you observe it, it goes from a wave to a particle.
Yeah, that's very unusual. It's so strange.
Unusual.
It's like an intelligence built into things. It's like, we can't give you all the secrets, so we're just gonna rip.
They can't explain it, and science is supposed to be a tool. It's supposed to help us. It's not supposed to be the limitation that we hold on to as like our safety blanket. Don't tell me about all this other scary stuff that I might have to open myself up to. I'll just hold on to the certainty of science because it's all proven by scientific studies. When you actually look at scientific studies, I mean, there's none that are really you can make them able to be replicated.
Yeah.
But really, every situation is completely different.
I do admire a lot of scientists. These are usually made up of people who have a genuine curiosity, and they're trying to do the same thing that a lot of philosophers are trying to do. They're trying to understand the nature of things. And some of the most brilliant thinkers alive have been obviously part of the scientific class, and they're really pushing themselves to just push the bounds of understanding, especially in the quantum field. They're really trying to like go, well, what is the nature of this universe and what is our place in it?
They are asking the
It's a
questions,
journey,
but they
yeah.
think that the answers can only come through scientific.
Quantifiable and measured.
Yes, but
Yeah.
when it comes through channeling, when it comes through Edgar Casey, when it comes through the lady who did the Course in Miracles, it all got channeled to her. Somehow that is not truth and that's not reality, and that's just some random person like just blabbing on. Like, no, she felt compelled to say those things and then write it down. She felt compelled to do it. She was very against it. She didn't want to be the channeler.
Well, I think we're starting to see, like, eventually we're going to see in the mainstream the next phase of human evolution. And that is when we're mixing, basically bringing that mechanistic, materialistic mind state together with the complete mystic, like, sort of mind state. And we're bringing it into the whole state where we are able to channel, and that will become a science when we're able to quantify human experience at the same time as let it teach us as well. Like, and we're bringing these worlds together, and that's going to be.
Well, the CIA definitely is. They've been using remote
exactly.
viewers since
Exactly.
like the 70s.
Yeah.
They know there's something beyond all this science and science. These materialist atheists are the ones that are the closed-minded ones, and I used to be one of them. I'm not anymore, but this is where I feel like I am left in a category where I don't know where I am. I wouldn't call myself a spiritual. Like, well, when you say you're a spiritualist, right? I've always been curious about this.
Yeah.
What does that even mean? What is a spiritualist?
It's a broad brush term. A lot of people think it means New Ageism, and I'm basically someone who is striving to get more and more deeper in touch with my true authenticity, who I actually am, without any of the adulteration or anything like perverting or snipping off parts of me. I'm trying to be like come into wholeness, which is what Carl Jung is preaching and teaching, called individuation. But from there, you actually get access to your unconscious. Now, in your personal unconscious, at a level of depth, you start to reach levels where you start to get to the collective unconscious. And this is where what you might call spiritual, because you're starting to see pieces of yourself more and more in everything, in birds, trees, in wind, in the people that you see, and you start to recognize more and more that deep connection that you actually have, and sort of intimacy with things. You start to see synchronicity not as a coincidence. You start to see it as a sign. You understand that the world is constantly in communication with you, and that when you raise your personal frequency of like emotion to a love state or to an excited state, you start to see more and more through the veil of illusion that everything's materialistic, isolated, and cold. You start to see more that we are deeply connected and bonded with everything around us, and that we're playing with it. It's a part of ourselves that we're playing with too. It's like we are the expression of the earth as much as we are as an individual. We are the expression of the universe as much as we are as the earth. That's spirituality. And it's not unique to one culture or ideology. Like, I'll look at Catholicism and I'll read through the Bible and I'll take pieces of information and wisdom that is in that book, and I'll basically try to understand it. And if I understand it and it's actually something that resonates with me, then I'm like, okay, cool. It's made me face parts of myself, and I can use this. It's now integrated, just like the Quran or any other like religions. But when you say one book is all you need to know, that's bullshit to me.
I have a problem with that.
Yeah.
It's hard to sit there and say this is the only truth and this is the only way, and every other way is wrong or bad, and it's just like, is that not also divine? Like, are you literally saying God created everything, but then some of the things he created was not divine? So
yeah, I created weed, but you can't smoke it. Yeah. I made apples ferment, but you can't partake in it. Like, it's just, yeah. I created the urge to, spread your seed, but you're not allowed to unless you get married in a church and dedicate yourself to that one person the rest of your life.
Oh my god, we went from
Yeah.
talking about living our passion to reincarnation to spiritualism and religious dogma and channeling, and now what are we talking about?
Passion. I think that we need to as you embrace more and more your passion, it sort of steps away outside of the bounds of this mechanistic and mystic thinking. We start to move outside of society a little bit because that's where freedom is, beyond laws, beyond rules, beyond being regulated and taxed, into nature. I think there's going to be a huge global return to connecting with nature because it's something that we inherently need as a species. And the further we get away from it, the more we seem to divorce from ourselves and our true natures. Because we need
Yeah, but for some people, nature is literally going outside the house because they don't even do that that much, really.
or going to the dog park.
Yeah.
They have 15 trees in the dog park. That's my connection to nature.
But I think nature is everything because it's not just about plants and hiking and mountains and stuff like that. I think nature is also like the buildings that we've built. Yes, they're square and man-made, but that is the nature that we've built. That's the natural habitat of humans living in cities. Like there's a culture that forms there. That is still nature in a sense. I think nature is a lot about involvement. If you're involved with the community, you're involved with the trees and the birds. Anything that brings you back to the present and you're involved there, you're in a relationship with it. But if you get disconnected, but in cities, you think everyone's got their headphones on and staring at their phones. No one's connected.
Because it's overwhelming. You're surrounded by hundreds of thousands of people. It's overwhelming.
You can't say hello to everyone. You get overstimulated now.
I remember when I first moved to a city for the first time from a small town. And when I was walking down the street, no shit, I was 19 years old. And every person I came across was like, hey, how you going? I was just being a townie, in a city, literally. It's like Crocodile Dundee in that movie. And he goes to big cities, like, hey, going, mate, how you going? How you going? To every person he walks past. I felt like that. I'd never seen a tall building in my life before. I was mesmerized by skyscrapers. It's like, what the fuck? That's such a huge building. That's crazy. And everyone else is so used to it. It's just like, what are you looking at?
Really? That's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, I grew up in a third world country, but still a city, and I had seen buildings and stuff. Yeah,
well, you've been in the city. I was in a small town.
Yeah, but it's a third world country.
The tallest building in my town was 2 stories. We didn't have big buildings. It was
And you'd never been to a city before?
No.
But you were living near Perth for a while.
Oh, that was later. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
No, I wasn't living near Perth. I was living in the inland from Geraldton, which is the desert.
Right.
Yeah. So it was a trip, man, going from a very small, isolated town in Australia to the city. But and people thought I was a freak, saying hello to everyone. But that's my natural state. That's this natural state of how we are in proper community townships, where we're connected to each other. And it is a part of nature, you're right. In human beings that you see nature.
Yeah, and I think we shouldn't just say, oh, I'm not in nature just because you're not sitting in your botanical gardens or whatever. Because you can still be in nature, you can find connection with other human beings, and you find your own nature. You can find your inner nature within. Nature's not just about outwardly being surrounded by birds. How many of us are disconnected from our inner natures, that vulnerable part of us that just wants to connect with another human being, that needs the connection of another human being.
Yeah.
So many of us are afraid to even admit, I don't need any friends, I'm self-reliant, I'm independent. No, we actually need other people. And if we realize that we need it and our life depended on it.
Yeah, absolutely.
If we actually realize that our life depended on it, we would give it so much more respect than we do.
I think this is the difference between small towns and cities. Just because in small towns, there's only very limited numbers of services. So you have to get to know the local mechanic. You have to get to know the butcher. You have to get to know the person who runs the veggie store or, the local council. You have to be connected with these people. So there's no room for disconnection. You're part of that community. And maybe the real answer for humanity to start to come back together again is to actually get out of the cities. Maybe it's an inherently bad way of living. There was this famous incident. It was somewhere in North America, like down the southern part. I think it's near Mexico or somewhere. This is like a long time ago. But they found that there was this entire city that was populated with estimated about 1 million people. That one day, everyone left.
For what reason?
They don't know. Everyone left the city. They just packed up. No, this isn't working, and they left it. And went back to their villages and tribes and nomadic ways of living. Gone. Just a whole city evacuated.
When did that happen?
Oh, I think it's like 14,000 years ago or something.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a long time ago.
Their cities. This is pre-industrial revolution.
It was pre-industrial revolution. Life wasn't as comfortable, but it definitely was more comfortable in these cities, generally speaking. But they just said no.
Well, all the trade happens in cities. Facilities are available
Yeah.
in cities.
They had entire lifestyles, traders, it's enmeshed there, and they just left. We could do it again.
Yeah, I mean, it's only beneficial for as long as the other people are there.
I think
As long as the facilities are there, that's
the difference is though that every single inch of this land is now measured and owned and legislated and quantified, like fences and borders and everything. Back then, they could leave the city, build their own tribes. Like there's no one there. There's no tax man going, you can't build there, and you must put that stick exactly 15 meters away from this fence line here.
yeah.
Like, there's none of that shit. You can just build your fucking house wherever the fuck you wanted to build your house. And God, I wish we had that. I wish we had that.
Yeah, but you got other fears. You've got other dangers. You've got the danger of the wildlife. You've got neighboring tribes.
I'll
It's
take
just
that.
a real danger. It's a danger on your life.
I prefer that.
You say that,
Yeah.
but to those people, they're looking at you and they're like, "No, you fucking don't. You don't want that. This is luxury what you're living now."
It is luxury, but there's just this deep yearning for the freedom of our ancestors.
The freedom comes with risk as well. This is the other thing.
Yes,
you can't
that's
just
true.
have freedom without the risk.
That's right. Danger makes you feel alive.
And there are some of the risks. Are you willing to take the risk, or you want to live in life in safety mode?
I know that going back in my life, back to when I was living as a younger sort of guy in the like late 80s, early 90s, there was society itself was a lot more dangerous. There's a lot more violence. There's a lot more like street gangs. There's a lot more like chaos, so to speak. But god damn, there was so much more freedom too. And I can see the amount of life force in people then versus people today. And they were alive. So alive compared to today. Like you just don't have the spirit and the wildness today anywhere that they used to have. And I remember that. And I know what it's like being more free. And so I'm always going to be aligned and allied towards more freedom and more danger. Because it makes a difference.
Go live in Nimbin then.
They do still have a little bit of freedom, although the police have cracked down on them a fair bit lately. So, yeah. Maybe I should go live a bit more wild, a bit more free, away from like the comforts.
I think you will miss your computer so fast.
That's true. That's one thing I do enjoy about the modern living. Is the computer.
This is what the disconnection comes in.
Yeah.
You sit here and yearn for this life, yet you have the option to leave it behind, but you're addicted to it.
Yeah.
Have you let yourself even leave it behind a little bit? No, you like it, yearning for it. You've built an identity on the yearning.
That's true. It's true. I say if like I went back in time and they didn't exist, I would probably miss it for a week, and then I would be completely reset. And I think that I could do that today. Leave it behind for a week.
You've had your entire life to make that choice.
I mean,
actually.
when we went camping and we were away for quite a while, I got out my phone a couple of times just to check Facebooks and social medias and stuff. But most of the time, like I was just enjoying being in nature. I settled into it. My sleeping pattern fixed, and I started getting more energy. And I was feeling like really, really good about it, like being away from all that stuff.
I just think you're not ready to grow in that area of your life.
That's a big judgment.
I think you like saying that.
I think you're projecting a little bit as well. That's okay.
I think you really were. If you really were ready to grow in that, you would make choices every day based on that.
That's true.
I think you like the sound of it when it comes out of your mouth. That's why you say it. A lot of people do that without realizing.
I'm describing something real and something true.
Oh yeah, no, I'm not. I'm not commenting on that.
Yeah, it's what I'm saying is true and real. But I have become addicted to modernity, like computers, internet, living with those comforts. Yeah.
But I think you sort of resent yourself for that a little bit too.
Well, I just kind of. I guess because I'm not the only one, almost everyone else is too, and I see the how so many laws have now come in to stop us from living the way we used to live, and it feels like, well, I might as well just acquiesce to the new world because, like, you know, they've taken away our freedom.
Resignation.
They've taken away our freedom, so we might as well just fucking live the way we live now.
Disempowered resignation.
It's absolutely,
resentment. And so this yearning that you have, by the way, sorry for just breaking you down right now.
Break me down? That's fine. I'll only resent you a little bit. It's fine.
Yeah, I think the problem exists and you're part of the problem, you know, but you also, that's an empowering thing to say because that means you can be part of the solution now.
Yeah.
By changing your behavior, changing your actions, you don't have to sit there and talk about how, oh, we're so disconnected, we need to connect more. You can actually connect more. And you can be in that state where you say that you want to be connected to nature, like connected to outer nature, connected to inner nature, and be in that identity, like I am connected. I am connected.
Well, I do feel that connection already.
Yeah.
I do feel it deeply. I'm just recognizing, like, humans' law systems. I'm recognizing ways of living that seem more and more and more divorced from that. But in myself, I'm sort of coming back. That's why, like, in the afternoons, I'm like, let's go for a walk. Hey, let's go to the creek. Hey, let's go out and do a little, like, you know, connection out there.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to do that every single day because I understand, recognize how fundamentally important it is to immerse ourselves in it. We're very lucky. We actually live in this beautiful valley. It's a old volcano, and it's filled with rainforest, and it's absolutely stunning. Very green here, very moist, very lots of rivers and creeks, and so just outside we can go out to a river and have a swim, and we're very fortunate for that.
Well, not right now; it's flooding right now.
It's a bit floody right now, but yeah, it's usually option for us. Yeah. So it's very healthy to do. Not everyone can do that. You know, you found yourself in a city, you know, you got some parks and stuff, but maybe they're dangerous, and you'd have to drive a long way to be able to get to some natural places. I would urge you to do that as often as possible because it's just good for you. It's just really good for you to disconnect and to break away. Don't take your phone or anything unless you need to call someone. Yeah, just go spot some insects. Go see some frogs. Go see some possums. Go look at the fish and the yabbies in the creeks. Go listen to the calls and the wind blowing through the trees, and just spend some time with that natural detox, and you'll find your spirit, your soul, your everything will just come more and more alive the more you do that. It'll awaken your senses because we are animals and we come from this place. It's where we're supposed to be. It's our home. It's where hundreds of thousands of years of instincts have emerged from. It's your mother, so to speak. So yeah, that's just what I'd advise on that front. Yeah.
What's our purpose? It's nature.
Yeah, I think a lot of our passions can derive from that connection.
Love that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we've been streaming for I'm not sure how long. Oh, I think like just a bit over an hour.
Yeah, that's a good stream.
It's a good time to end it here.
Absolutely. Well, thanks for watching. For those who are watching later, and if you've gotten all the way through to here, you're absolute champions. Make sure you like and subscribe our channel. We're a brand new channel. We do have 2 other channels though. We've got our own channels that we've been working with for a long time, and this is our first time that we started to work together on it with the Light and Shadow School. But Golden Pathway Shadow Coaching, that's me.
And Wellness with Zahra YouTube channel. Subscribe to me there. I'm on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, TikTok, Insta.
Yeah, we talk about all kinds of wild stuff. So yeah, hopefully see you guys there, and we'll see you next time.
I would say Light Shadow is like the most unhinged though.
So far, yeah.
Yeah, this is the place where all the unhinged. Yeah. This is like the backstage pass, like to
basically,
our
yeah.
life.
Yeah, we're revealing our true minds.
Yeah,
we're just talking. Yeah. So.
All right. See you next time.
Yeah.